最近おじいちゃんいるから違うけど久しぶりにバイブスあげてこう嬉しそうできるスイカ
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Neon here, and welcome to the Dandadan Season 1 Supercut episode of Castaway Anime. The podcast is still on hiatus until 2026, and we do feel bad about missing the summer 2025 season, as it looks to be the biggest season of anime we've gotten in years. While we won't have any new content for the rest of this year, we hope you'll enjoy the convenience of having our entire Dandadan Season 1 discussion in one place. We'll definitely revisit all the biggest anime of 2025 when we come back from hiatus, including Dandadan Season 2. Until then, you can check out both Crunchy's channel and mine for brand new content to tie you over until the new year. For now, please enjoy the Castaway Anime Supercut of Dandadan Season 1.
Yeah, I was astonished at, well, I guess early on into, watching seasonals, I was astonished at just how much I can withstand, obviously the good stuff I actively want to watch, compared to just how tapped out of the bad stuff I am. And an example of being addicted to the good stuff and wanting to shoot it right into my arm is Dandadan. I knew what thing you were building towards.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't you have like a newfound appreciation for Dandadan now that you can compare it with contemporary shows of the same season and be like, wow, this shit's even better than I would have thought of it previously.
Yeah, there was, I won't spoil this, there was a show that I watched right after Dandadan that I think was made worse by having to watch it right after. I'm gonna be real with you, this is the best show of the block. Easily. Yeah. I didn't even have to think about it.
There was not much competition. I think there were only 2 shows this block that I was like, I don't like them as much as Dandadan, but I do like them.
We probably have the same 2 shows we're thinking of.
I think we all have the same 2 shows we're thinking of.
I think it'd be really funny if we don't, though. I think
that would be hilarious, but come on, they have to be the same 2 other than Dandadan.
I don't know your guys' taste, so it could be a
don't assume, Crunch. Remember the last time we assumed on the Seasonal Impressions podcast?
Assuming makes an ass out of you and me.
For all you know, I could really love Loner Life in Another World. That could be.
What if that's peak fiction, Crunchy?
What if that's better than Dandadan?
I didn't watch it. I don't know.
Then you don't know.
You're missing out, bro.
Spoiler alert, it's not, but.
Okay.
Anyways, Dandadan is fantastic.
Why do you think it's so good?
So,
go ahead, Crunchy.
So the main appeal of this first episode to me, and what it seems like many of the other people who have watched it, is that it's weird. It's really weird. And you can tell it's the type of show that loves just being as weird as it possibly can. But it's a very approachable kind of strangeness, where, some shows are just so esoteric that I can't get into them. You have to be a very specific kind of person to fall in love with it. But with this show, I think almost anyone who can get into anime at all will be able to get into this show's brand of bizarreness. And from what I've seen, just from fleeting comments on the AniList forums that I read in response to episode 1, it only gets stranger from here on out, and I am so excited for it.
You have no idea how badly I wanted to smash my mouse onto the next episode button, but I had to restrain myself to watch everything else.
Not gonna lie, you cut out, at least on my end, right after Smash, and I thought you were about to say how much I want to... God, what was her name? How am I blanking on
Momo?
This? How much you want to smash Momo.
I mean, also not an incorrect assumption, but... I said next episode button.
I mean, so I was actually fortunate enough to be able to watch it, the 3-episode theatrical premiere. So that was an amazing experience. And then I will say that the one that you should want to smash is actually the grandma. But you'll learn.
I do. Yeah, the grandma. She is the ultimate guilt.
So fine.
I can't. I can't even hear me out this one. I can't hear me out on her.
You don't need to hear me out. She's She
She'll
looks like
just do
she's
it
in her
anyway.
20s.
I mean, no, she's shown in the flashback, you know, in her shrine maiden costume.
Well, you see her in the opening.
yeah.
Speaking of creepy nuts, I can't believe creepy nuts are the contending for opening of the year with themselves.
Absolutely.
Wait, what's the other one?
Mashal.
Oh, right. I thought you
I
meant
still
in the
listen
season.
to that one on a regular basis.
Yeah, I as soon as I heard Otanoke, I immediately bought it, and now I've been bumping it.
Oh hell yeah.
Creepy Nuts just makes all the best openings and endings because of Call of the Night. But yeah, this is another banger from them. And this show, dude, there are a lot of good openings this season, actually. Like, a surprising amount of them that stood out to me. And this is obviously one of them. Just the bright lights in the background with the characters going by. It's great.
The like
It
funky
does.
colors and
It's awesome.
stylization and everything.
Hell yeah.
I love that Ken does the Devilman Crybaby run, paying homage to Devilman Crybaby, but also by Science Saru.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. What is everyone's thoughts on the show as a whole? Because I've already said my thesis statement about it. What are your thesis statements about this show?
It is a weird show, and I love how weird it is. But I think what's even hard carrying it the most, even outside of just the stellar action animation by Science Saru, is the performances from Natsuki. Hold on, I gotta make sure I pronounce this right. Natsuki Hanai and Shion Wakayama, who play Ken and Momo respectively, because they have the best chemistry together.
Dude. Okay, something. All right, so if you told me just in the abstract without any other supporting details. All right, so there's this show and there's like this, popular headstrong girl who falls in love with this nerd by the end of the episode. Like at the end of the very first episode, she's like clearly has an attraction towards him that's building. And he's like this shy nerdy kid. I would have been like, "Wow, that's going to be garbage, innit?" No, this show made me buy it completely. Like, I understand exactly why that would happen, because they just have such good chemistry. Like, I understand it. I'm picking up what they're putting down.
Dandadan's a love story. Like, even though it's a Shonen Jump Plus anime, it's just straight up a love story.
And I love that about it. It's the most bizarrely told, convoluted, seemingly based on the first episode, love story in existence. But that's, like, such a good hook to me, because these two people, they're bickering even, like, immediately when they meet, they're already bickering and having this competition to see, like, oh, well, I'm gonna go to this alien hotspot and see if one abducts me. Oh, I'm gonna go to this ghost hotspot and see if I get possessed. And they both go out, and then it turns out both are real, because that's just the kind of show this is. It's great. I love every single interaction between them.
I think this really plays into what Manto was talking about when we have to really praise the voice actors, because in a show like this that bends genres so like fast and like on the flip of a switch, right? Like you have the scene where they're like yelling at each other and being really aggressive, and then all of a sudden it turns into this like really introspective, heartfelt like memory about her grandma and this like little ritual she used to do but made her embarrassed, and then the next second like they're being attacked by aliens, right? In order to be able to like turn and pivot on a dime like that really requires some skill, and I think that's shown off like really well in this episode.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I like what Crunchy said earlier about just the how bizarre it is. And I don't know if I'm alone on this, but the content of the episode, sort of the brand of bizarreness, somewhat reminded me of Fooly Cooly, of all things. Maybe with like the alien stuff and all of the like coming of age imagery, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I can see
I really
it.
liked it.
I ain't seen Fooly Cooly, unfortunately, so I
What?
can't.
Dang.
I need to, but I have not, unfortunately.
I haven't seen it either, but I know the vibe of the show, and
What?
I understand where you're coming from on that.
I-
But by the way,
What are you
Crunchy,
doing?
Are you familiar with the voice actors Natsuki Hanai and Shion Wakayama?
No.
All right, so what if I told you that Ken's voice actor, his two other most popular roles are Ken Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul and Tanjiro from Demon Slayer?
I have not seen Tokyo Ghoul. It's been a hot minute since I've seen Demon Slayer, so I wasn't able to recognize him. But he's definitely putting on a strong performance.
Yeah, his speaking voice, he's doing a different voice than the Tanjiro one, but when he's screaming, you can hear the Demon Slayer. But then what if I told you that Shion Wakayama's most prominent voice role before this was Takina from Liko Riko?
That is actually surprising. I need to go back and like compare their voices because they're doing, obviously two characters who are like polar opposites. I mean, this girl has some range.
Yep.
Yeah, that I didn't even recognize that. That's crazy.
I just looked into it now. I did not know that Natsuki Hanai was Otokawa from Odd Taxi. But that totally makes sense now that I'm thinking about it. And that was a great performance.
Another thing I would like to point out about this show, because there's some shows later on, cough cough, that will, I let's just say I put them on 2x speed, and it felt like the right speed. This show goes like 100 miles per hour at all times. It is so well paced. It is so tight and punchy. And dude, okay, I love the way it begins because we just start and there's already like, we get to see Momo fighting with her ex and, bickering. And like, we're just immediately thrown into a scenario. And we don't need to have context immediately. We learn it over the course of the first few minutes of the episode, really. But we just immediately get shown, hey, here's a thing happening that is, important to understanding the current state of her character. We're just giving you this information as efficiently as possible to build your investment immediately. Whereas other shows would take the more the course of let's have a long drawn out flashback that gets us to the point where we can even begin the show. And so it feels like you're just doing the homework before you can see the plot actually start. Here it's like, no, you're in the plot immediately. Good. Shows should start that way more often. That's based. Maybe this is just me having a zoomer attention span, but I really appreciated this show's pacing, especially because, once again, it is so weird, and part of the charm is, here's a weird thing happening, and then it gets, just twisted to be even weirder, and it's just back-to-back insanity. For that kind of show, that very snappy sense of pacing works well.
Yeah, the show, when it's like going 100 miles per hour, it does feel very fast, but it never feels so fast that you can't keep up with it, and it does slow down for the more quiet moments, like Momo talking with Ken over the phone about her past with her grandma and how she was a spirit medium and had her do a little like ritual every time she walks to school to keep her good, the good vibes, the good aura, the good chi up to keep her safe from the ghosts, and how it led to kids bullying her, and how she kind of like resented her grandma for it, but in reality she was resenting the people who were indirectly making fun of her grandma. And you get to see the sensitive side of this, otherwise outwardly brash and brazen little lady, and how she's will stand up for this, nerdy guy who they bond indirectly over their belief in the supernatural, just on opposite ends of the spectrum. And then I love how they get to I love how the scene of where she's dismissing Ken outright, being like, no, I don't believe in aliens, you fucking weirdo, this is why you have no friends. But then before she completely walks away, she's like, yeah, you know what, I'm sorry, that was out of pocket, I shouldn't have said that, I'm sorry. I don't believe in aliens, but I do believe in ghosts. Only for her kindness to be immediately turned into mockery by Ken being like, oh, you stupid bitch, ghosts aren't real.
That is an amazing scene. It's crazy because I have very much been sold on Momo's character after just one episode, and I feel like that's because the show just starts so fast. But I love that scene in particular where where she like calls him like, oh, this is what all like loser otaku do. Obviously aliens aren't really dummy, blah blah blah. And then she like goes off on him and she walks away like towards the camera, and then she walks all the way past the camera, and then the camera zooms out to show that she stopped after she had left the purview, and then it like shows her beginning to walk back, and it has that shot where they're like on opposite ends with that giant door in the middle separating them. I just think that scene in particular is shot so powerfully for being one of the scenes that isn't as action oriented, it isn't as inherently flashy, but it was very memorable to me.
Yeah, the directing of the show is very top notch. I can't help but wonder what would happen if Yuasa had directed this, but what's Yuasa been working on recently? I feel like he hasn't made anything in a while.
He like left Science Saru, didn't he?
Did he?
I'm pretty sure
That can't
he
be
did.
right. Science Saru is his studio.
I mean, you can fact check me. I think he left.
I might need to fact check that. Yeah. Someone bring up another talking point while I fact check that.
I mean, speaking of Science Saru, the animation has been really, really just a pleasure to watch and on point. Like, after I saw this, like at the theatrical release or whatever, I picked up the manga because I was so enamored with it, and it really does a great job of bringing it to life. You know, like in the manga, it does start off with her little like gangster walk. I don't know what you call it. Her like little swag she does when her hands are in her pockets and her like feet are like extended.
Isn't that a
Little
Doflamingo walk?
It's such a way to introduce
yeah,
someone.
the Doflamingo walk.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Doflamingo.
Also, Kamimashita is right. He has left the studio.
Yeah.
It says here that he stepped down as president of the studio, but
He steps down as CEO. I'm reading the Annulus description. He would later work there as director until the completion of his latest movie, Inuo, and would later cease any affiliation with the studio.
Man,
Rip Yuasa.
Man, that's
what a
lame.
loss.
I hope whatever he's working on next is a banger.
I'm sure it will be.
Damn, I did
but
not know
it's
that.
still nice to know that Science Star is still putting out hits like this, even in his absence. You know, that it's more than just a single person.
Yeah, Science Saru is one of the top tier studios right now.
I mean, they have
'Cause
Naoko Yamada.
everything-
So
Yeah, everything they put out, even if if it's something like the Scott Pilgrim anime where the writing just happened to be poor, at least you know the visuals are always gonna bang.
Definitely.
I think this anime. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. No, you can go.
All right, this anime is just firing on all cylinders at all times, and I love it for that. And more productions need to be like that. I'm tired of the half-baked productions that don't have enough staff and time. You know, this feels, hopefully it doesn't fall apart later. I'm fingers
don't
crossed.
even say that.
I don't want to jinx it, but thus far, it has, like, I have confidence in the production and the direction, the writing. Everything is firing on all cylinders to make this specific story the best that it can be. And it is a story that is distinct and that has such a specific voice that I'm sure this is the only place where I could get a story anything remotely like this, and I am here for it.
it's definitely the first show I've watched that has the line, "I'll let you suckle my teeth, so give me your weenie."
Yeah, I love how it's canon that the granny ghost, I think they call her the turbo granny, possessed the dude and has canonically stolen his junk. He just does not have it anymore. And
Poor dude.
Yeah. I don't remember.
It's not so bad. In exchange, he kind of gets like supernatural powers.
Yeah, it's a give and take. I don't remember her doing that to Mob in Mob Psycho, but she was in Mob Psycho, am I right? Because the tunnel definitely was, and he had encountered some sort of like yokai in there.
It's a famous
Can you
tunnel.
confirm?
There's a lot of tunnels.
Okay.
There's a lot of ghost tunnels in anime.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure she was in Mob Psycho, the same folklore character.
Were the
She didn't eat his
molesting
weenie, though.
aliens? Were the sexual assault aliens in Mob Psycho as well?
No, but I absolutely love how those aliens, like, they kept leading off all their sentences like, come on, like, we're really nice guys. Like, come on, like, we're a nice
Just
guy, you
let
know
us-
what
we
I'm
love
saying? Like,
humans.
just give us your banana.
Just
you know
let
what I'm
us put
saying?
you
We're
in
nice
heat
guys.
with our psychokinetic waves, and then we'll pull out our HR Geiger, and Robo Needlecocks, and then
Then
Just
just
let us
that's,
reproduce,
uterus,
bro.
you
That's one
know,
thing I really
nothing-
wanted to
no
ask
biggie.
everyone about that scene, because that's basically the one kind of criticism I've seen brought up, how people really didn't like how they were maybe using rape as like a joke or like a comedic
well,
moment.
for what?
Mm.
Well,
Does everyone else think?
I don't
I
think
hesitate
it's
to
a
call it
joke.
bad because
No, yeah,
A,
I mean,
nothing ever ended up happening,
Mhm.
and B, they got their shit pushed in anyway.
Yeah.
I guess I would only go so far as to say I wish she was more clothed in that scene, because the fact that she is basically bare bra and underwear. I mean, the scene is supposed to, be disconcerting and make you uncomfortable, but I'm
Well,
a bit queasy
let's
about
be
that
real.
stuff
The fact that they
specifically.
kept her in her underwear was because that they couldn't have her naked. Even though realistically, she probably would have
Yeah.
been
True.
if this weren't targeted for like a teenage audience.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's interesting though because I definitely wouldn't say it was played purely for a joke, especially because of the fact that both of the main characters encountered different similar situations. It's definitely like very thematically important to the story. You know, it seems like a little bit of a coming of age style thing with a lot of sexual themes to it. And obviously that doesn't exempt it from having poor depictions of that. But I think it is definitely important to the grander thematic narrative.
I think it was all worth it just for the little ending bit where Momo gets embarrassed by Ken being like, "No, seriously, yeah, please put on my clothes. I can't like look you
That
in the
was
eye when
really
you're
cute.
just like that." Because it's sweet. Like she's wearing his school coat to try to cover herself up, and she's like, "No, bro, I'm fine. Let's go get you to the cave together. We'll beat up the granny ghost, and we'll get you your weenie back."
Dude, what I love
Oh,
is
yeah.
that like he offers her the clothes and then she's like, no, hold on. We're in this together. You have the clothes. But he still doesn't feel like, taking them. He doesn't want to be fully clothed while she's just in her bra and panties. So he just takes the clothes and then starts walking along with her in his underwear. And I'm like, that's so sweet. I love him.
And then when they're walking, it's like, yeah, he says a line from Ken Takakura, which is a real person who is Momo's celebrity crush, and that's the one thing that she looks for in a guy. That's her number one criteria, that they're as similar to Ken Takakura as possible. Basically like the male equivalent would be like a Sydney Sweeney, or a female Western equivalent would be like I don't know, like a Chris Hemsworth, or who's another handsome Hollywood guy right now that women are crushing on.
I'm old. Dude,
Timothy
you can't-
Chalamet.
Yeah, there you go.
And so he says a line from Ken Takakura work, and then she's like, "Oh, okay, that was a weird coincidence. My heart's beating, but it's just because he said a line from the guy that I like. Hey, what's your real name, by the way? Oh, my name is Ken Takakura." And they just happen to share the same name, which is a pretty common thing in Japan, because a lot of family names and whatnot are, I don't think, as diverse as something like America is. But then that realization then like is what triggers the, oh, I like this guy inside Momo as the UFO explodes behind her and she
Dude,
gets
I
stars in her
really
eyes.
loved that, because you see the sparks in the background as it's building up to it, and I'm like, oh, this is like they're gonna like punctuate a really impactful moment with this, aren't they?
That's when I
And it was
realized, oh, this is
so
a love
good.
story.
And it's so good.
And when
You
was the last
guys,
time we
this
had a
is peak.
shonen story that had the two main characters on equal footing, and also being about the romance?
Oh man.
I mean, to be fair, I don't watch that much shonen, but this is good.
Mm. Absolutely. Production
Yeah,
is firing
I
on all cylinders for sure. In like every way, the presentation is superb. Like the character animation, the action animation, the colors, the character design, like literally everything about it, the background art, the way they do the lighting with like the flashlights and the phone flashlight. And, like literally
the
everything about every scene is beautiful. The directing.
the way they get you invested in the relationship between Ken and Momo by when Ken travels through the phone somehow to save her from the aliens, and then proclaims that he would like literally die for her just because she was the first person to show her kindness. Because the whole reason he believes in aliens is because no one would ever want to be his friend. So he thought, okay, well, if humans don't want to be my friend, then what if aliens were real and they'd be my friends because they're kind of outcast weirdos like I am? And he tried to contact them a bunch, but they never responded, and he got bullied more for that. And Momo was the first person to ever stand up for him when he was being bullied by kids. And so she was just like, yeah, no, don't you dare lay a hand on her. And then Momo he's like kind of takes the kindness to that, and then calls for Ken to like step up and be a man to fight for her. And it's like, oh, it's sweet because you see they're bringing out the best in each other.
Yeah, and it's not even just that she's watching the fight, but that eventually, he gets smashed into a wall and she unlocks her fucking psychic abilities that she apparently has. Because, she's been resisting their the alien mind control psychic waves this entire time, and they're like surprised by that. As it turns out, no, she is just straight up psychic. She has her own crazy power.
I think
Yeah,
It's like, yeah,
I think
she
the way
isn't a bystander to the fight.
I think the way they described it is that the training that her grandma made her do when she was younger was actually like helping to unlock her latent abilities, and then the aliens trying to mess with her waves helped bring it to the surface.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And I think the important part of that scene is that despite him coming through the phone and like seemingly look like he's gonna save her, it's her who ends up being the one to save herself, and then they together as a team get out of the situation together.
Basically, what you're saying is she ain't no Orihime.
Urasaki-kun.
I also appreciate how they're keeping the transformation and the reveal of the of Ken's like alternate form for another episode and not just blowing their load after the first.
Yeah, this episode just does so much in such a short amount of time. Like, I am immediately hooked, and I'm definitely keeping up with it. I mean, we kind of have to because of the podcast.
Yeah, it is going to be on the podcast,
but I would have
no matter
been
what.
anyway. Like, I am very happy about this being on the podcast.
I'm just really happy that there's like more like horror-ish shows, because I think that's a really like underutilized genre. I mean, obviously we have like Uzumaki this season, but other than that, I've only ever seen like one random episode of like Flip Flappers that does horror really well. So I'm looking forward to the kind of uneasy atmosphere.
I mean, I wouldn't
That
call
episode
this
did do it
scary
well.
in the slightest.
I mean,
The imagery,
they
though,
got
is,
sharp penises.
Does
that scare you?
Well, the imagery is scary, but it's what they're doing makes it not. Literally, the first thing the scary ghost granny says is, "I'll let you suck my grandma tits if you
And
let
then
me
she does, and
gobble
she
up that
takes his
weenie."
penis. That's scary as hell.
I don't want that.
I mean,
to
I
happen.
guess if it happened to me in real life, I'd find it scary. But as an outside observer, when
I mean, I don't
these
know
two
about you,
characters
but if
are
I
doing
woke
all
up
that.
one morning, changed my underwear, oh my god, my ween is gone. Yeah, I mean, I'd be pretty scared.
I'm just saying, as an outside observer,
I'd piss myself if I could.
as
yeah.
I think they'll ramp it up.
How does he go to the
I'm looking forward to
bathroom?
it.
I think
What happens to the water that he drinks?
That is true. I mean, I would imagine.
Is it just a hole now?
Yeah, that's what I would think. Like, it's not quite the other part, but it's just kind of like there's.
Or does
still
it
like
work
a
on?
place.
What if
Does
there's
it
no
work on
hole?
Ranma 1/2 logic where it's all just smooth? There's
Yeah.
like nothing there.
I didn't actually know that.
And then he just like blows up eventually.
What I was gonna say is I made like I've seen a lot of horror anime. Like I've gone out of my way to try to see as many horror anime as possible. Like one of my first videos on my channel was a tier list of like a bunch of different shows. It is exceedingly rare that anything with this kind of imagery that I find so appealing has anywhere near this level of production. So I very much resonate with enjoying the fact that it is sort of at least horror adjacent. The only other thing I can think of recently is kind of Heavenly Delusion a bit, and I really liked Heavenly Delusion.
I would consider that more of a horror anime than Dandadan.
I probably would too, but you know.
Uzumaki had a shot.
The first season of Promise Neverland.
Yeah. But even that I don't think I liked quite as much as either of the more recent shows.
Yeah, well, moral of the story: go watch Dandadan if you haven't already. It's I think it's gonna be a good one. If every episode is as good as this one, this is a strong Anime of the Year contender. Assuming is it going to finish this year, or do we know how many episodes it's gonna be? Okay, yeah, no, 12 episodes. It will finish this year, barring any horrible, unforeseen delays, which are becoming sadly more and more common.
Absolutely.
We can only pray for the best.
All right, yeah, Dandadan. It's
God damn da damn.
Yeah, it's kind of peak, isn't it?
So you were not lying when you told me that each episode feels like 12 minutes, because I watched them all this morning and it was easy. it was really easy. I did not have to force myself whatsoever once I had watched like
I know this is like our number one seal of like stamp of recommendation when we mentioned this on the podcast, but it was like I wanted to mash the next episode button so hard.
I probably would have, were it not for the fact that obviously if I watch it now, we're going to take like a month before we get to the, next podcast. So I'll have blurry memories by comparison. So obviously can't do that. But it is great. It is stunningly good.
Yeah, and it's been blowing up. Like, I don't think an anime has like blown up like this so fast since excuse me. I don't think even Dungeon Meshi blew up this much when it came out. I think this is like more like a Freerin situation.
Yeah, this is. I mean, I haven't seen too much of the reception yet. Average score 84 on AniList, probably higher on Mal, like an 8.6 if I had to guess. Which deserved. So deserved.
8.6, let me check. Yeah, 8.64.
I don't know if it is. Okay, I had the score right on the money.
Yeah, this whole show has been one of the I'm gonna say it's like a contender for Anime of the Year.
It absolutely is. I mean, the only other ones would be like Oshinoko Season 2. Oshinoko Season 2. I mean, Dungeon Meshi, obviously. But
maybe. Do you think Freerin could compete? What score? I forget. What score did you end up giving Freerin?
I gave Freerin an 8.
Okay,
so
I also gave it an 8.
It's not Anime of the Year material yet, considering Oshinoko Season 2, I already have it a 9. Dungeon Meshi, I feel like would max out at a 9. I don't think it could reach 10. Maybe it can, and I'm just tripping. But
you haven't gotten to the Yuri.
True.
You've not been exposed to enough Farseal.
I still need to get back on the Dungeon Meshi grind set.
Same.
But this could be. I don't want to say it too early. I don't want to call it. But I'm saying that this has 10 potential.
If the rest of this season is as good as these episodes, and keep especially with the. All right, yeah. Hold on. I'm just gonna open it with saying this. I fucking adore Momo and Okarun. I think this is going I think this is going even beyond the Fern and Stark levels of I need them to kiss and get married and have a million babies.
By far, Fern and Stark had like a fine dynamic. I enjoyed them. It is like not even on the same level as this.
And like even with Fern and Stark, when I say like the fan base as a whole kind of ran with the joke of them having a million babies because of Friren's lifespan, and like she'll like live throughout their multiple generations of children throughout her lifetime. Whereas this one's not even sexual. I just want them to like hang out and be buds, and then like I want them to like sit next to each other and like hug.
So here's the interesting thing, right? Because Dandadan, only at episode 5 does it really start expanding the, amount of characters in the show. Like for episode 1, we have Momo and Ken, and then in episode 2, we get the grandma, and then it's really just them up until episode 5, where we get like brief glimpses of pink-haired girl.
Well, we also
who
get
is
Seiko.
I just said the grandma.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Turbo Granny.
No, I just forgot her name.
Okay.
I mean, Turbo Granny is technically a character. I wouldn't consider her to be, like... she's a good villain. Just... she's interesting. She's interesting.
It looks like going forward, she might become this show's version of Cone from Bleach.
I thought that exact same thing. Based on the ED, absolutely. Because Turbo Granny has been reduced to a wee little skrunklo who can't do shit against
robbed
Tormund,
of all of her power. Now it's just her mind inhabiting a doll.
which is hilarious. And
doing
I hope
funny
she
dances
stays.
with a cat.
She definitely will. Yeah, so Dandadan, keeping up with its insanity, is a show about a boy who lost his penis. And later on his balls.
Can't have fucking shit in Detroit.
He really can't. He gets the shaft back only for the balls to stay missing. And only to learn that Turbo Granny just dropped him off somewhere. Just left him. Just left him wherever.
Yeah. How is he gonna pee now? Where if all the pee stored in the balls?
I kind of love how they never address it. Like, you just have to imagine how he peed without it. Because he canonically did. But we don't know how.
Did he? I thought he said he had to shit.
Well, I mean, pee and shit go together like pee and shit. I don't know. I was about to say peanut butter and jelly, but that's kind of a disgusting metaphor. So...
Remind me to add that one to the quote book later. Pee and shit kind of go together like ... pee and shit.
Exactly. I mean, you can't have one without the other. So, I mean... Well, also, it's been like multiple days at that point. He has to go. You pee more than you shit. It's like a law of the universe. And he drank like 5 minutes prior in the episode.
Maybe it was just a hole. Maybe it became a girl.
Damn. Wish it were me. But anyway.
You are never beating the allegations. Yeah, so now the journey is while he is without his penile pecker, he is teaming up with Momo, who also has her psychic powers now, and they gotta fight ghosts and aliens, and they gotta get back his wee-wee.
I mean, as I said in the seasonal podcast, this show is off the rails, and that is very much one of its main appeals. It has stayed at kind of a consistent level of off the rails after episode 1. Like, episode 1 is where it peaked, where it's just like, what is this even about? And then right now, we're kind of in a groove of just, yep, this show is wacky and weird, but also we've got like the greatest character dynamic of all time tying it together. Because once again, it is primarily just Momo and Ken just playing off each other. I love their constant bickering. Like, not bickering in the sense of they're also having fun with it typically, except in episode 5 where it becomes like sincere but also like really cute because they both immediately want to get back together.
Dude, I was fucking like smashing my desk, being like, oh my, then like I want to talk to Momo, I want to talk to Okarun.
They're just they're precious. They're
They
absolutely
belong
precious.
together.
When they're both, I love this scene. They're both at benches on the same wall, right next to each other. The only thing blocking their vision of each other is like a corridor, like an outside corridor, but there's like little windows in the wall even so they can still see each other. But they're just so like down and up in their feels about how the other isn't talking to them and how they've looked across the entire school for them and just keep missing each other. That they're like, oh man, but like
As
maybe,
one
maybe they
raises
hate
their
me.
head, the other one lowers theirs, so they
I
keep missing
love
each other.
that.
The directing
And
in the
then-
show as a whole has been very top tier.
Stellar. But then I also love how they bump into each other, where it's not some like pussy shit, oh, they accidentally kiss, the trope. It's they accidentally like go mouth to mouth, but their teeth clashed together, and it like kind of hurts, and it's really funny.
I love
Character dynamics are just, they're great. I love them.
I love how Momo tries to play like both the Gyaru and the girl around him at all times. Like even just like immediately after meeting him, like she doesn't feel like she has to put on any sort of like guise or persona around him. She's just immediately as open with him as anyone else that she's around, like with her normal friends. I love in episode 2 where she's like they're in their room together and she's changing back into normal clothes, and she says to Okarun, like, you always assume people are like you always assume their feelings without letting them give a chance to explain themselves. That's really annoying, and that's probably why you don't have as many friends as you could have. And then when he is like slumping down in that shot outside the bedroom doorway, when he slumps down, she's already kneeling next to him, being like, you don't have to be like that with me. I'm in this with you, pal. That was a great bit of directing and also a cute moment, especially then when she then sits even closer to him and be like, hey man, come on, speak to me. Poke, and pokes his butt.
I screenshotted that and was like, hierarchy of needs. Like the entire thing is fulfilled by a girl going poke and poking you. Just every need fulfilled by that one
As
action.
someone who's now been in a relationship for 6 months, I can confirm that like, I just see like this is the most literally me anime that could possibly have come out in the right now for me.
Damn, don't worry, it'll be literally me soon once I groom one of my fans.
Well, I'm glad we got that on audio video.
Look, they can play that clip with like the VHS filter over it in the shitty YouTube video essays when they come out. We should have known all along.
Yeah, and then immediately after that, he just goes, "You're so ugly," and then they get back into yelling at each other again.
Yeah, like the banter it's so lighthearted, but also like they get into it, but it's so you want them to get into it because it's so fun, and it's clear that they're also having fun with it. The banter in this show is top notch. Like even, dude, when Ken starts running to the bathroom and has Momo like piggybacking him, biting his head, like trying to get him not to go into the restroom. And then like
teeth.
when they're running together, like Seiko says his full name. And Momo's like, ah, and then just like
she
flutters away in the
swoons
distance.
and jumps up and then falls behind.
It's great.
I also love how she nicknames him Okarun because he loves the call, and she literally cannot handle her calling her saying his full name, or even himself calling himself his name. She's like, no, you're not Ken Takakura, you are Okarun. I cannot
That's
have...
literally the first thing that happens in episode 2. Is just don't say your name ever. He's like, but it's my name.
It's not anymore, bitch.
You're Okarun now.
I love that, at beginning of episode 4, when they're going into the tunnel to confront Turbo Granny, she's just like, you should go first, Okarun's like, no, it's ladies first. What? You wouldn't send a cute little old girl like me in there, would you, ooh-woo?
Every single interaction, dude. Also, Momo with glasses is also entire hierarchy of needs.
Yeah, when, that particular design with Momo wearing glasses, I feel like I felt my soul transcend into the higher plane for a moment there.
Yeah, Momo with glasses, Momo with ponytail, Momo with anything.
I miss the long hair that she had at the episode 1 when she unlocked her psychic powers.
Momo everything is the hierarchy of needs.
I'm a big Momo enjoyer. She's great, and Ken's also great. I love how his self-doubt. I love how when he transforms, he turns into a edgy emo guy, and his self-doubt just gives way into self-loathing.
But also, it's like, you know, in the seasonal podcast, you were talking about how you hope this romance is them, like, building each other up. It is, like, very literally that. Like, in the most literal way, like every time they're in battle, like, it's always just this team effort where, you know, it's typically Momo coming up with, like, the strategies, and then, like, Ken being there, like, you know, using his super insane, like, I guess, depression powers to execute them, but also, like, she's out there on the battlefield as well. And it's always great to watch them, you know, engaging in fights together as opposed to just one, like, carrying the entire thing. Like how, you know, even in the very first fight in this block of episodes, Momo, like, baits the alien, like, maybe alien, maybe ghost. I wasn't entirely clear on it, but Ken thought it was an alien. Even though, you know, the seal worked on it, so I'm not entirely clear on what it is.
I think they established that
maybe an alien
what affects
ghost.
ghosts can also affect aliens because they're both supernatural in origin.
Okay, that does make sense. Yeah. But, like, she baits it into punching, right? So it's made this wall around the entire house that's made of cement. Literally, like, can't get through it, and it's blocked to Tori gate that, you know, you would put the seal on. But then Momo baits it into punching the wall in this, you know, super tense scene, like, where she is. And she's presumably living just purely through psychic powers, because it is, like, breaking the concrete wall. But she baits it into doing that so that she can, like, telepath the seal to her and exercise it because it's past the realm of the Tori gate. Like, you know, we're exercising strategy. We've got teamwork going on. Like, it's great. We're firing on all cylinders at all times.
Yeah, it's like a more dynamic version of what Fuko and Andy had in Undead Unluck, where it kind of feels, you know, it feels like they're both operating on equal footing, whereas in Undead Unluck, Fuko kind of feels like sometimes she can help, but sometimes it just kind of feels like she was a vehicle of unluck for Andy to use against their opponents, whereas here they're both equals working together.
Which works with the theme of the show. There you go.
Yeah, I love how without fail, whenever they're running together, they have the same run cycle where they are like, you know, booking it like full legging, doing the exact same pose mirrored, where they're you know, one leg in a 90-degree angle, their arms are also in 90-degree angles, and they're just, you know, running side by side together.
Yeah, dude, episode 4 was just pure insanity. It's it's like everything, and I assume that's where the movie ended, which honestly was like perfect way to end that because, you know, it's the ending of the arc. But like episode
Well,
4 was just
the movie was the first 3 episodes. So
oh, it was
it
only
would've
the first 3?
Yeah, so it would have
Why not
ended.
the first 4?
Am I getting that wrong? Am I? Hold on.
That feels like such a weird place to end it off.
The first encounter. I'm fairly positive. Yeah, it was the first 3 episodes.
Huh. That's weird.
I
Why
mean,
wouldn't
it's a
you-
pretty
I mean,
good.
I guess it's a cliffhanger.
Yeah, because it's right before they go take on Granny in the tunnel.
Yeah, it's just that. I don't know. Maybe it's just because episode 4 is such a good climax to me that I'm feeling this way. Because, I mean, you know, at first they do successfully not completely exercise Turbo Granny. Like, get her, you know, she's possessed Ken, and then Momo is like, you know, keeping a firm grasp on her. Sometimes literally, and also with her, you know, psychic powers.
Yeah,
whatever.
and she repossessed Okarun, by the way, because he bit her teeth.
I love that.
She's like, "Oh, you cheated on your count with giving us a head start, and so I'm gonna do exactly what you offered. I'm gonna suck your teeth because you gobbled my weenie."
Except, in fairness, it's more like gobbling that teat with fucking full bite.
And he did it for his woman.
Exactly. But then, like, after, you know, she gets exercised, well, not really, but, you know, kind of, subdued. You know, you're like, oh, okay, what happens now? You know, we kind of won the encounter. No, because it's been previously established that there's also a location-bound spirit along with Turbo Granny. And so then, like, the giant crab starts walking towards them and causing havoc, and they've got to outrun it. Which, by the way, this is all happening, like, you know, invisible to ordinary people, but they can still see, like, kind of what's going on. Like, they can see the
can see
destruction,
things
they can see
breaking.
Momo, yeah, Momo and Ken running. I love how Momo's embarrassed about, you know, being piggyback on Ken. Like, oh, I hope none of my classmates see this. The zombie apocalypse almost gets started at a certain point.
I love how the show is like it can get serious, but like even in like sometimes even in the serious moments, it'll be like, oh, I hope like there'll still be the sillies out in full force. Oh no, I hope my friends don't see this, or the thing where like they're getting chased by a monster and they're still doing the goofy run together.
See, that's the thing, because like this show is like tonally perfect to me, because it will, you know, you could argue, if you're a fucking loser that is, that it undercuts some of the tension and emotional moments by suddenly pivoting into a gag. But because this show is so focused on the core character dynamic between Ken and Momo, it always feels right. Because you're always, you know, you're pivoting into a gag, but it's also like building on the core idea of the show, which is the romance between them. And so it never feels like completely out of pocket or out of left field. It always feels like sweet, you know? Like when you pivot from an emotional moment into a joke, it's not really undercutting the emotions, because you're pivoting into something that makes you smile and makes you, you know, feel the warm fuzzies inside. You know, and whenever you're in a scene that's tense, what's literally happening is so absurd that when the characters make smart comments about it, or, you know, when Momo's like, oh, I hope no one sees me, it's like, yeah, this is a goofy show. It feels in line with that. Tonal perfection to me. Like, I think this show nails pretty much everything.
Yeah, I can't think of like a bad aspect to it. The animation and art quality have not declined in the slightest. It's been very consistently high.
I mean, the worst thing I can say about the show, genuinely, is that in episode 2, the alien is most of the time CG. But then the main reason why I was worried about that in the moment was because I was like, oh, well, how are the, you know, future aliens gonna work? Or gonna
The crab
look,
was
right?
never CG.
That's the thing. Well, I think the crab was sometimes like CG, but like drawn over as well or whatever to help mask it. But the
Okay.
thing is, like, it was always composited so well that it's like, yeah, it looks good at all times. Like, because for the episode 2, like the one encounter that they could have gotten away with doing CG for would have been that. And it's not even like particularly awful CG or anything. Like, it looks fine. It just a little, I was a little disappointed just because it is CG and because I noticed. But then you get to episode 4 and it's like, okay, worries averted. Because the important encounters are fully animated. Or at the very least mask it well enough that I don't mind it. And that's really what matters to me. Like, if to get this show out at all looking as good as it does requires using some CG for some aliens, I'd rather it be the less important ones to focus all that energy into making the good encounters as Sakuga as possible, which there was so much sauce in episode 4 for the animation. Like,
Yeah,
that
that shit
went
went
crazy. Episode 4 was so well animated that, once again, I don't even care. Like, I literally don't even care about episode 2 anymore. Just to get episode 4 looking as good as it does.
Listen, they needed to make the alien in episode 2 CG so they could put all of the detail into scientifically crafting all the proportions of Seiko's design.
Exactly.
You know how she always has her hair like tied up in that like really tall Marge Simpson-esque tower? It's representative of everyone's dicks looking at her and how they're shooting straight up.
I unironically do really love Seiko's design. Like, she doesn't come across
She's a
as like
baddie.
she's a baddie, but yeah, it like feels natural within her character that she would be like that. Like, not necessarily pandering so much as that is really how this character would dress and act. As sort of femme fatale, but also like kind of a kooky one with the pineapple hair.
Yeah, like kind of like she can be serious, but then on her off hours, she's just like she's kind of late. She kind of reminds me of like Kakashi or from Naruto, or even a bit like his name's not Urahara. I was thinking of Ukitake, but that's a different Bleach character, like Urahara too.
Yeah, she definitely has that aesthetic to her.
Yeah,
I personally
she's
love her.
basically the personality of Urahara with the design sensibilities of Yoruichi.
That's honestly the best way to put her. Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself.
And that's why literally everyone wants to bang her.
I mean, I would.
Yeah, like
Maybe Hag Maxers were right all along. That's all I'm saying.
This is what they were talking about, even though this is definitely cheating, because the joke is that she's supposed to be a grandma, yet she looks like she could be she looks like she's in her 40s at the least, and that's by anime standards.
I mean, Ken literally says, like, man, your grandma's young.
Like, I don't think they ever
I assume it has to be like
state
some
her
kind
age.
of occult magic stuff is what I would assume.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, given the whole nature of the show, I'd imagine it has to be a gag, and like she just has like some magic ability to make herself look younger, because I can't be the other idea I had, which is she's just straight up like 40 years old because like she had children at a young age, and her children's children, and her children had children at a young age. That would be the only other logical explanation, but
I don't feel like this show would do that. Like, it feels much more in line with its sense of wacky logic to be like, and also there's magic involved or occult stuff or whatever. Which the show has acknowledged that she looks young, so I'm sure we'll get that explanation at some point.
Yeah, I'd let her smash my skull in with that bat.
Bro, same.
Let's see what else is there. There's the pink hair. We're starting to get into the new characters with the pink-haired girl, Aira.
Yeah, she's not done much yet except for flirt with Ken like a bitch in order just to lead him on, just to feel superior. Although what it leads into is like one of the best moments of like budding relationship between them, where Momo overhears this, and she's like, I bet bro has never felt the touch of a woman," and she uses her psychic powers to do. It's like a trope in Japanese comedies that people get hit in the head with a wash basin, and so she literally like telepaths a wash basin to hit her in the head, like a gag comedy. And then immediately like, calls over Ken, takes him, arm in arm, is like, you literally, bro is feeling the touch of a woman in real time. And I'm like, yes, be possessive of him. Take him back. Take back your man. Take back what is rightfully yours. Yeah, it is great.
He is in fact the property of Momo Ayase.
Yeah, that was so cute.
And then the laugh. I love the contrast. Like once again highlighting how perfect the relationship is, of the heart to heart that they have. Of I got so embarrassed. Like she acknowledges that they kind of kissed, and just like I was so embarrassed I didn't know how to react, and I didn't want to like put you off or anything. So like, and they apologize and they make up, and it's like, I really just want to talk about occult stuff with you. It's like, I do too, Momo, but right now we have more pressing matters. My balls are gone. All my balls gone. And immediately cuts to her laughing her ass off back at her place on the floor. So much that shows she's like rolling around on the floor, literally, and she's bumping into Ken.
I need this in real life. Never have I wanted a girlfriend more.
I'm telling you, I can't necessarily relate to the ball stealing, but I can relate to having.
You can't relate to the ball stealing? I mean, I can.
But yeah, you were talking about Laszlo's hierarchy of needs earlier. Yeah, having your girlfriend laugh at you for something like kind of dumb happening to you, or something that you said, have her like cry laughing is it's even higher than oxygen.
So basically what you're saying is this show will fix Japan's birth crisis single-handedly.
I mean, now maybe it's because I have the benefit of being in a relationship kind of similar to this one, but yeah, this definitely feels like relationship propaganda, even more so than typical rom-coms tend to do.
But the thing is, it sells it so well with just having the best character dynamic ever created. Dude, like, once again, I cannot stress this enough. It has been 5 episodes, it is like almost entirely just Momo and Ken. Like, yeah, Seiko's there, she's cool, I like her. It's like mostly Momo and Ken, and they've carried it.
Yeah, they I could just straight up watch a show of just these two dicking around, like, and fighting ghosts with literally no other characters. Like, you want to inject some variety, let them play off other ghosts. That's all you need.
But the thing is, like, because this dynamic has been crafted, and because, Seiko, once again, really good character, I'm excited to see where they go with it. Like, I'm excited to see, like, what future characters will bring to the table. Because we already know pink-haired girl is going to have presence. There's some dude in the OP who I'm sure is going to be a mainstay. So
yeah,
we're getting like some variety.
Characters we haven't like really dived into yet, and we're probably definitely gonna see them in the next block of episodes. What I guess the only thing that I could say I would like to see more of from Dandadan is that it's still being a shonen, even though it's definitely putting its rom-com foot forward. That if it's going to be having like shonen elements, I would definitely like to see, like, if Turbo Granny is no longer the villain, because she can't be the villain. She's been reduced to cone status. That someone else will have to take the place of an antagonistic force.
I think that will definitely happen next block of episodes. And also, like, we've had the fledgling stages of a training arc already. It was cut short because of Turbo Granny for the sake of pacing, which I definitely do not mind. But I'm sure we'll get more of that later on, more of a proper training arc. Because, once again, the show's literally made a point to cut it short. Like, they barely escape the zombie apocalypse and a crab monster, like, by the skin of their teeth. And didn't even kill Turbo Granny in the end.
Yeah, the whole show is nonstop dopamine, and I want to inject it into my body at all times, and I don't know if I can hold back from reading the manga once it's done, especially when I saw this one particular panel that I do want to show you that is I don't think a spoiler now because now we know how the show is like going, but it is literally the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life.
All right,
Send these to
lay it on me.
you.
This is fucking adorable. That every
She's
Maslow's
tap
hierarchy
dancing her
of needs.
fingers on his fingers.
It's great.
See,
All
this is
right,
why
yeah,
aromantic people can't exist.
Okay, well we've been down this debate before. You're wrong, but we can't have this discussion right now.
No. But like this is like the soul food. Like this fills my soul just by raises my mood just by looking at it.
Yeah. So overall, Dandadan, it will be a damn shame if it doesn't stay this consistent. But I think it will.
I think it will too.
I'm calling it right now. Strong 9 to even a 10.
Well, we'll definitely see. It's
I'm
definitely
hoping for the
in
latter.
no lower than a 9 right now. Like anyone who's like been watching these first 4 episodes be like, yeah, it's kind of like a 7 or full of shit.
I blinked and the episodes were gone, and I wanted to inject them in my veins again.
I look forward to watching them again with my girlfriend.
Yeah,
Like normally I get annoyed when I have to like rewatch a show that I just watched. I would gladly rewatch Dandadan again. That is something that does not happen often.
I mean, you already rewatched the first episode again, so there you go.
Yeah.
ご無事でいてなんておハレンチな姿でしょう。アイラにそんなお姿をお見せつけになるなんてもうお婚約がお前提ってことなのですね。よっしゃー
Neon, this is the greatest show ever made.
It really does feel like that, huh?
No, it doesn't just feel like that. It is. It is. That's a fact.
Hey man, I ain't gonna argue against it. It is continuing its strong candidacy for anime of the year. Well, at the time of recording, the season's done now, so and has been confirmed for season 2 already.
Okay, so yeah, the final episode did air. Oh god, I'm gonna have to. Neon, do you know how hard it's gonna be to stop myself from watching it immediately? Do you?
I mean, it and Mecha Ude only have 3 episodes left each. If we want to be like, Neon, can we like record the podcast like a week ahead of time, even though it's Christmas?
Yeah, I mean, maybe doing it on Christmas is a bit much. But
Well, I suppose it is
going to
be the next.
I wouldn't.
I mean, it is going to be the next podcast anyway, so if the show is this peak, then watch the 3 episodes now, and you just take the notes and remember for when we record in 2 weeks.
Well, I have short-term memory loss, so, you know, that
that's
might
what the
be
notes
a
are
bit of an
for.
issue. Exactly, but this show is... Okay, so obviously everyone's gushing about episode 7. I remember after we finished recording the first episode of the podcast on Dandadan, you were like, oh my god, word on the streets is that Dandadan episode 7 is peak. And it is peak. But, and this is a good but, I don't think this show is the best thing ever made necessarily because it has peak moments like that. Because obviously that is peak fiction. It's like directed so well, and it's a really good sequence. It really is. Oh, you want to know what really sells this show? It's the moment to moment, the humdrum, the moments that aren't necessarily going to be talked about on Twitter as being the best thing ever. It's that every interaction is perfect. It literally every interaction.
Yeah, this show has peak character acting, and it's keeps it so that way every time there is a, the non-action scenes, the in between, the humdrum, the normal conversations between the performances and how they animate the characters and how they play off of each other. It's never boring because they're always doing something fun. Like they'll always like do a little funny pose, or they'll interact with each other in a goofy way. Prime
The ramen
example
off.
being yeah. I was gonna say, just anytime Momo and Okarun are just having a conversation, they'll insert jokes into it. It's like so natural too, because like, you've had conversations in real life with friends almost like exactly like them.
It's literally like some of the most casually hilarious moments in fiction. Like, okay, I need to talk about the ramen off because throughout that entire scene, right? It's the beginning of the episode, and they're just slurping ramen, and Momo and Aira are going at it, and each time, like, they slurp the ramen a little more aggressively, and they keep going, and eventually they're talking through the ramen to the point where the show has text on screen showing what they're saying because they're literally incomprehensible otherwise. And then they're like waving their hands to knock away the text and be like, no, I'm gonna argue with my facts and logic, and it's just more text on screen. All while Okarun
Yeah.
is just baffled, just befuddled.
Like, holy shit, 2 girls.
Exactly. Which, by the way, Aira is so good. I love her.
I love how she is both a ditz and like starts off as like a total self-centered bitch who's like crazy delusional, but then
she still is, but the show does this perfectly, right? So Aira, here's my theory about why Aira works so well. Aira is essentially a Chinibyo. Like, not literally one, but she is taking on the role of one, where in her mind, right, so she can finally, she can see ghosts and shit and aliens, right? Because
yeah, because
she's
she's got a
hit
hold of
on
one
the
of
head.
Okarun's balls.
I still love that this is the plot of the show.
We gotta find your balls, Okarun. And then we have to throw them back into your crotch.
Oh my god, you reminded me of the batter up. The pitchers getting scared scene as they chuck it into Okarun's crotch. It's so good.
So like, what happens if Seiko were to hit it? Do they just like try again?
Yeah, I would assume so. But I just love it. Like
I like to imagine that
I didn't even question it in the moment because it was that fucking funny.
I like to imagine that it was entirely unnecessary, and TurboGrafx could just been like, all right, I'm just gonna like put it up to your junk, and it'll like probably like phase back in. You probably didn't have to like fucking fastball it 100 miles an hour right at his groin, and they were just doing it for the funny.
It is exactly the type of thing that Seiko would do.
I would not be surprised if we ever get the second one as near like about as fast as we get this first one back. That it's just like, wait, what do you mean we don't have to play baseball again? You can just do that. You can just put it in just normally.
Yeah, but as I was saying about Aira, right? So she gets hit on the head with one of Okarun's balls, and which she doesn't know. She thinks it is some holy object that, she's the chosen one because she saw some remnants of the fight that Momo and Okarun were having against Turbo Granny in episode 5 on the train. And so she sees some of that. She's like, well, not all of it. She doesn't quite piece together like what exactly is happening. She just sees like a flash, right? So she's like kind of magical a little bit. And so she's like, I'm the main character, which she already had main character syndrome beforehand. But
And
now
I love how
she
they
really
continue to
has it.
reinforce this in the later episodes whenever Momo's coming up with the plans, to be like, hey, I'm the leader here.
See, what I love about the way they set up Aira, for like the first minute of the episode or whatever, or like when they first introduce her, Aira is literally saying like, I'm the prettiest girl ever, everyone loves me, I make their days better just by them looking at me. And I was like, okay, this is a little on the nose. This seems like it's gonna be kind of obnoxious with her repeating it over and over again. And then the show makes me love her anyway, because the reason why they go, so hard to set it up in a very obvious, one would say beating you over the head type way, is so this joke can work immediately. And it's like, oh, okay, I see what you're cooking. I'm picking up what you're putting down. And so we have, along with our cast, this girl with main character syndrome who like wants to take part, and by the end of this block of episodes does have the power to. But up until that point is just kind of along for the ride, useless, but thinks she's hot shit and that she's gonna save the day, and that Momo is a demon.
Hey, and she still thinks that they're all demons by the end
Oh,
of
yeah.
it. I love the bit where she's like, that Seiko can't possibly be your grandmother. She's too pretty and young. And then Seiko's just immediately like, wait, what did you say? You're right. Momo is absolutely a demon. Please exercise her for me.
I love the bit where, okay, so by the end of episode 7, beginning of episode 8, Aira is in love with Okarun, like explicitly. But it is treated as a complete joke, because she just goes on and on about how, "Oh, I know it's taboo because I'm a human and you're a demon, but my heart just pines for you, Okarun. I can't help it." I also love how she gets her tips for asking out men and seducing them
From porn.
from one of her
From her
from one of her
dad's
dad's,
porn.
yeah.
I fucking laughed out loud when the bit where it's like, I love the 1-2 punch of like, at first you see her like with the headband on, the goofy Japanese, I'm focusing, I'm going in, I'm locking the fucking headband with a mountain of romance books in front of her. And then when Okurun's like, where did you get the idea that after you confess to your love, the man has to kiss? Then it just cuts to her like being mesmerized by the porn on the TV.
I cannot get over how every interaction is okay, so I'm gonna try and hone in on the appeal of this show for me, because I've talked a lot about how what makes the perfect show to me isn't necessarily like the one with the most, peak super ultra uber moments, although that does obviously help. It's the one with the right texture, I think. The one with the right combination of elements that pushes my buttons in the right way. Whereas talking about how Oshinoko Season 2, right? For you, it was a 10 out of 10 because you couldn't see anything wrong with it, any major flaws. But for me, my argument as to why it was a 9 for me was because it doesn't push my buttons enough. It isn't specifically appealing to me in a way that nothing else can. It's just a really solidly crafted and, admittedly very unique, very specific show. I don't think anything else does Oshinoko at all. Oshinoko is the only show that does it like that. But at the same time, it's not necessarily as appealing to me as other shows like Dragon Maiden, Barakamon, and Sangatsu no Lion and all that. This show pushes my buttons. This show is, I love it. It's perfect for me. We're
this
made
show
for each other.
is a big vibe. It's
like it's the same feeling I get well, not the same feeling, but like, the same way in which Dragon Maid's interactions feel so tailored to me and so perfect and so entertaining. This show has like that same quality to it.
I get major regular show and Gumball vibes from the show. Not just
can see
because yeah, because like the humor is like kind of similar. Yeah, obviously it'll never go into any like massive fourth wall breaks like shows like those will, but it's the vibe. It's the chilled out, hey, we're all like bros, we're all friends, we're all goofing off. This is how real human people would act with each other because you've been around them so long that you know all their quirks and you just play off of them. Whereas other shows with like similar levels of action, but not as much like character interaction like this. Like a recent example relevant to the podcast, Bleach. We just got done recently watching like 10 plus about like 10 episodes of Bleach, and like the action when it happens, well, in that particular block that we did for the Arankar arc that we covered, it wasn't the peak of action in the show so far, but like even at the show's peak of its action that we've experienced so far, pardon me, like the character moments, the in-betweeny moments, the downtime between the big action stuff, it's not always the most memorable. Sometimes it's kind of flat. Sometimes it's kind of like, okay, it's time for the story to move us along to the next action set piece. Yeah, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where sometimes it's not all bad, but it's like it's doing the bare minimum. It's like this is like the bare minimum amount of like quality and effort in the writing and the presentation that we're doing in order to keep the viewer invested into the next big action set piece. That never happens in Dandadan because there's no need for like there's no need for the show to feel like it needs to hurry us along to the next action set piece to like get a pulse of excitement, because the whole show it has its fingers on my pulse and be boosting it into the happiness, because the whole show will put a smile on my face, and then when it wants to, it'll rip that smile off violently, and like Sandy did that one tattoo of the mom heart fish dude, turn it upside down and goes wow, and then he does that with my mouth and made it turn into a sad face when episode 7 happened.
Yeah, so I guess you want to just get right into that.
Yeah. So
All right.
yeah, the first 2 episodes we're being formally now introduced to Aira, who we last saw her in the last block of episodes was trying to put the Riz on Okarun, but she was kind of being a fake bitch about it. And Momo was like, oh, I ain't having none of that. No one's going to emotionally manipulate and abuse my best friend but me. And then drops the wash tub on her head. And so that's because now we know Aira has the testicle in her possession. And then she's thinking, wait, what the hell? How'd she do that with those demon wings? Oh, she must be a devil of some kind. I need to go full Chainsaw Man on her ass and exercise that bitch. So she gets her friends to tie her up to perform an exorcism. Pardon me. And Momo's fighting back. Okarun is able to find them, but this whole time, Aira has been seeing a lady in red. A weird ghost, and now the ghost has caught up to them, and her name is Acrobatic Silky, and her goal is to get Aira to call her mommy, because presumably she is Aira's deceased mother returned as a ghost, and she's just trying to reconnect with her daughter. That's what the show leads you to believe at first, but something's off about the whole thing. Even as a ghost, Aira does not recognize her at all. Like, nothing about her reminds her of her actual dead mother. And so, Silky, in a fit of rage, eats her. And... oh, hold on. I need to take a sip of water. I'm getting over a sickness,
God.
and if it's talking this long is drying it out. 1 second. Ah, there we go. Yeah, so Silky eats her. Eats Momo and Okarun too, but the lighter that... quick aside too, the bit with the lighter constantly being brought up as oily. I love that we get a payoff to that where it's we find out that the cross that Aira has is actually a lighter the whole time and is used to set Acrobatic Silky's hair on fire.
This show is
so
great with Chekhov's gun. Like
I know.
It's so good. I love
and
that
like
moment.
every little thing leads it, and then because she set the hair on fire, caused it to frizz out. Now when she uses her hair to like swing around like Spider-Man, now it because it's all frizzy and tangled, it like gets entangled up into the like steel beams of this gym that they're in, and so like it limits her movement. And so they have a whole fight. They beat her. They like beat her up. She's defeated. But whoopsie doopsie. Aira's fucking dead. Because when a normal person gets eaten by a ghost, unless they have super duper pooper scooper psychic powers like Momo and Okarun do, then she done. She fucking funzo dunzo. But then Silky is like, hey, wait, don't let her die, please. I will give up my own aura to her so that way she will come back to life and I will fade away into the nothingness. And so we get the first of many raw moments in this episode where Momo's like, yeah, right, you just tried to, we literally saw you eat her a while ago, so you're just trying to use this as an excuse to eat her again, probably to get your strength back. And then, without even hesitating, Silky rips apart her own jaws, like 5 to 10 times their length, completely a bloody mess, rips them apart, being like, there, I can't eat anything anymore. And like, if you still don't believe me, smash my fucking head in with this steel beam, and then you could still perform the aura transfer, if you don't trust me. And I was like, holy shit.
Are you waiting for me to comment?
Yes.
No comments. I think you got basically everything I would have mentioned.
I was actually trying to give you a chance to comment so I could give my throat a chance to rest.
Okay, well then I'll try and pick up the plot recap from you, because I see you're maybe not having the best time. Right, so afterwards, oh fuck, my brain just fucking collapsed. Okay, yeah, so Momo does end up transferring the aura and, using it to revive Aira, but through this, the memories of how Sarasa, became this monster, both Momo
is that her
and
name?
Aira I think it's the Japanese word for what the fuck is the I forgot the English one already.
I don't remember her ever being officially name dropped. I thought they just called her Silky the whole time.
What the fuck is it? Because I think I saw it on Annie List. Acrobatic Sarasa, so that's where I got it from. That's the name as it's listed on Annie List. It also has as other names, the Japanese one, Acrobatic Silky and Acro Silky.
Okay, yeah, my Netflix subtitles just called her Acrobatic Silky, or would occasionally shorten it to Acro Silky.
Yeah, so Sarasa, as it turns out, she is a single mother, or was rather, in her past life. A single mother trying to raise her daughter while being horribly in debt to the Yakuza. Not a great position to be in, obviously. And it's told...
I love how the first introduction we get to her when we see her memories after the at the start of the episode, we get like the vision of her like running out in the rain and like in live action in first person view, while like constant low FPS shaky cam.
It reminds me of like
the
opening scene of the Chainsaw Man anime. Like it's
oh
the same
yeah, you're
technique.
right.
Yeah, so we get the first person view, and then we do get that later on in the flashback when it comes full circle.
Yeah, and then I love how the first thing we see from Momo's perspective when she taps into Silky's memories is her at a fucking love hotel, like fresh after doing the deed for money. And it's like, oh, shit's about to get too real.
Yeah, so it shows the life and times of her and this child that they're raising. Or not they. It's only one. It's just her. But no, they have some happy moments, but it's also clear that she is working her ass off. I love the moment where she's asleep and the child is like trying to wake her up to play, and she like at some point does wake up, but then is pretending to still be asleep, and so suddenly jumps up and surprises her. That was really sweet.
It reminded me of, I don't know if you've ever seen Ponyo.
No, I have not.
There's this cute moment in Ponyo where Sosuke, the main character kid, his mom is like laying down, upset that her husband slash his father couldn't come home that night because they were out on an extended fishing job because he works as a fisherman. And so she was expecting her to come home, or expecting him to come home rather, and so she was like really sad about it and upset. And Sasuke being like, "Oh, he's only working because he loves us and wants the best for us." And to see how kind and considerate her kid is, she gets up from her bed and like wraps him up in a big fucking hug. It's really cute and adorable. It reminded me of that.
Yeah, but no, obviously, we're just waiting for the moment it all goes to shit, because it does very much go to shit. Oh, I'm rewatching the moment. I'm remembering like the really impressive shot where it's like the camera's panning through all the different scenes over the candles of the birthday cake. This scene is like really well animated, by the way, in case that wasn't obvious. It goes hard with the animation.
As is the rest of the show, but yeah, this is where Dandadan crosses into cinema.
Yeah, like the show overall is very consistent.
Like this whole sequence could be a fucking award-winning short film.
It really could. But yeah, after that we get the hard cut into the Yakuza taking her child away from her and killing her. Well, not directly trying to, but she's like desperate to keep her child, and they're like, "No, fuck you," and push her into, I think it was the glass door, which shatters and then impales her. So she's not having a fun time.
Yeah, I love how even though like we've seen some dismemberment, so like characters getting cut in half in the show with like lasers and shit. I love how that's like the most violently gruesome that the show has gotten so far. Where it's not the supernatural ghost and alien fights. It's it's domestic abuse and just getting a normal ass person throwing another normal person through glass, and we see all the glass shards impaling her like deeply.
Well, yeah, because the like actual fights in the show, and I'll get into this more later because there is a very lengthy one in the latter two episodes. But they have a very like goofy tone to them. They are serious. Like people are seriously in danger, but it's about just the freneticness and fun of seeing the strategies of the main characters unfold and the wackiness of the scenarios they're in, which contrasted against this. Once again, you said normal person just dying in a very tragic way. Yeah, it very much interrupts the flow of things tonally, but in a good way.
Yeah,
And
and the fucked up part is she didn't even die to the injuries. She fucking threw herself off the top of a building.
yeah, shit's rough. Although the way, God, like her doing the fucking ballerina dance over the water, in the yeah, I'm watching it right now. Like the super starry sky city behind her. It's gorgeous. It's
You can
gorgeously
tell that like
rendered.
yeah, and this is right after like she still tries to like, you think she'd be like, "Oh, I have so much glass in me. I'm bleeding. I'm fucking like my eye is fucked up. I'm can't fucking move. Like, no, the power of her loving mother heart, like her motherhood is at stake here. So she bursts out the apartment door in a fucking like frenzy, a panicked frenzy, trying to track down the Yakuza guys still, even though they'd like in all likelihood, if they even if she caught up to them, they just beat her ass again. Maybe this time actually kill her. But she can't find them. She's like, oh, and like that you could like at the start of the dance scene on the roof, like you could tell like, oh, her mind is broke. She's like already decided what she's going to do now.
Yeah, and this lends itself to what I assume will be a through line going forward, because we also had it in the first arc, where the spirits specifically, not the aliens so far, although I'm sure they'll do something similar to this with them at some point. Well, maybe not. Maybe not those aliens, the ones with the robo-dicks, but maybe a different kind of alien will have a tragic backstory of some kind. But with the spirits specifically, they oftentimes have, reasons why they can't rest, like tragic stories behind them, and it lends itself to a more emotional edge of the show. And here it's done really well, and I've heard that it's a very creative adaptation of what was initially a much shorter sequence in the manga.
Ooh, I have to. Damn, now I have to read to where the anime is up to this point so I can see how peak the adaptation is.
I already want to read the manga.
Well, hey, I'm glad that we don't have to wait long. We only have to wait till summer of next year to pick up where we left off. Once we
otherwise, I might not have had the
season.
self-control to keep myself away from it.
And all of this gets brought to a head where after Momo successfully transfers the rest of Silky's aura into Aira to bring her back to life, she starts breaking apart to ashes and like fading away. And Turbo Granny is like, oh yeah, she's dying with regrets after giving up her own aura, so she's going to get she's just basically like permadeath, like in no afterlife. She's going to the void. There's like all total darkness. It'll be like she never existed, and heavily implying that everyone on Earth is just going to forget that she ever existed. Which I thought was just a tad bit confused. So I was like, are they just gonna memory wipe Momo, Okarun, and Aira? Is it?
I do not believe so. I'm not sure. Did they mention did they mention Sarasa after that episode?
Well, they did. I was just saying that if Aira didn't do what she did, which I'm about to talk about, would they have just straight up forgotten everything that transpired with her? Would they like Men in Black neuralize themselves because of it?
I'm not sure.
But you know what? I guess either way, it's a moot point because this is where Aira becomes peak, and then this is where she becomes a beloved character and redeems herself for all the shit that she's done so far. Where we find that, like, at the deep down, she is genuinely a good person despite her chunibyo tendencies. Where Turbo Granny's like, well, Silky's gonna die with regrets, and she's gonna be cursed to be forgotten and just die in the void. And so the whole time, Silky rather, wanted Aira to call her mommy because she was convinced that Aira was her kid. Because like the time when she was recently became a ghost because she died with regrets, and that's how ghosts and yokai usually appear, is when a person dies with regrets still that they have not finished in their mortal life. And so as what's the fuck is the name of the ring ghost that comes out of the VHS tape? Sonico, yeah, as a Sonico looking ass ghost. For whatever reason, Aira as a child saw her and called her mommy by mistake because Aira's mom died just like natural causes, I presume, and when she was a young babby, and so when Silky as a ghost saw this happen to her, she was like, "Oh wait, that's right. I remember what what my thing was now. I need to keep my daughter safe. That was my daughter. Ira, she's my daughter." And that was like fine now that she's finally able to see her because of Okarun's testicle. She was like, "Yo, please just call me mommy, and my soul can finally rest." And so Ira, now with that knowledge, now even though she wasn't her real mom at any point, just giving her like the satisfaction of so she won't die with regrets into nothingness. She runs up to her as she's fading away, hugs her, calls her mommy, and tells her that she loves her, so she can pass on to a kinder world in peace.
I can see now why the word on the streets is that episode 7 was peak.
Yeah, it's just kind of a peak from start to finish, that whole episode.
As if it isn't true for the entire show as well.
True, but it's peak for a different reason. The up to this point, the show was peak because it was both funny and had good action. Now it has it can pull out good drama whatever it wants to.
Yeah, so this takes us on to the next arc, which is primarily a fight between a bunch of different aliens. They lock down the school, make it complete void realm outside, and it's Momo and Aira and Okarun stuck fighting a bunch of different aliens. One of them looks like the Loch Ness monster. One of them is a punchy boy. He's got boxing gloves. And then there's the penis aliens.
the trio of penis aliens.
Shit gets
but
wild.
we also can't forget that now we've inserted I was a little worried that something like this was going to happen, but the way they addressed it as soon as they did, I appreciate it. It was when they do the forced misunderstanding trope between Momo and Okarun.
Yeah, I thought it would bother me. It does not. It doesn't really bother me too much. And the reason why is because the arc. I mean, the show is about, it's a romance at the end of the day. And a high school one. It's contrasting the low stakes romance against the high stakes alien, wacko encounters. And
Hey
so,
man, you say low stakes, and I know what you mean by like the world does not hinge on these two getting together. But god damn it, I want them to.
well, same, obviously. So high stakes
But,
for me personally.
Yeah, yeah. The whole misunderstanding of Okarun lied to Momo about wanting to hang out, so in actuality, he can train himself to be strong enough to protect her from future attacks. But then Aira comes along, tries to confess her love to Okarun and kiss him. They get into a little squabble. Then the anime thing happens where he falls on top of her in a presumptuous, provocative pose, and Momo walks in on them. And now she's thinking, "Oh, you two are making out behind my back, huh? I thought what we had was special."
Yeah, but the arc is sort of about Okarun being like, "Bitch, just listen to me. Hold on, I have an explanation. Don't be so presumptuous about what happened, man.
Yeah,
don't
you
let
stupid
the anime
bitch."
misunderstanding happen."
I love how during the fight, like while they're running from the mantis shrimp punches, they just stop like mid fight and just have that argument in the water, being like, "Hey, like please listen to me. If it bothers you that much, let me explain myself, because I don't care if anyone else is like misunderstands like what we have together, but I will be upset if you misunderstand what we have together." And like the fucking like look of like, oh, he's like serious and actually cares about my feelings that Momo gives to him when he says that. Ooh, peak.
Yeah, dude, I love earlier. I forgot to mention this, but earlier in the arc, there's the moment where Okarun's like, a classmate is like, "Hey, can you hook me up with Momo? Like, she's pretty cute." And he's like, "Wait, Wait, Momo's cute. Wait, she is? Wait, I didn't even notice this whole time. You like can't even look at her anymore.
It's like, wait, now that I've
Literally, like,
had
they're sitting
a
next
third,
to each other
I've
on a
had
bench, and
third
he's,
party
like, looking
confirmation.
away.
I got the doctor's second opinion. Oh my god, she is cute. And then immediately after, when he's like, "Oh well, if you're not dating her, can I, tap that ass? Because I'm like, everyone knows she's a total slut hoe and will whore herself out to anyone." And then Okarun just goes full Chad mode, being like, "What the fuck did you just say about my main squeeze?"
Yeah, and so back to this fight. What I love is that, no pun intended, it is total bananas. It is fucking insane.
Yeah, the aliens turn not just the floor, but the entire, like, all the walls and the ceiling into bodies of water.
Yeah, just so much shit happens. There's so many funny moments in this fight too. The super crusty zoom in on Momo whenever Aira, does anything to her man. Her fucking man. Aira is stepping into her turf. How could she?
I love how it ends with the same gag every time, where she falls over, breaks her psychic concentration to ward off the aliens trying to exert their psychic powers, when they cause them to untransform.
Yeah, fights in this show are just so watchable. Like they have an energy to them. They're very funny, very fun, very frenetic. And the characters are facing like life-threatening situations, and it is kind of easy to forget that sometimes because they do quip so much and they are so ridiculous. But I also love the moment after the fight is done, where the water clears up, they're back at school again, and Momo and Okarun. And oh god, I feel like I'm jumping ahead a bit here, but in a great scene, uh, Momo and Okarun have like the same misunderstanding Okarun on top of Momo thing that he had with Aira. Basically confirming to Momo like like something like this happened maybe. There's some kind of alternate explanation. But it's also while they're like just clutching the floor like, oh my god, it's so perfect.
Yeah, we're out of the
Finally.
water. The hardness of the ground. It's the hallway. We're back. She's like, "Thank you, hallway." And
Obviously,
they
the
joke.
entire-
They bring it up in universe. Be like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Thank you, hallway." Like, I don't know. It's just fucking hilarious, man. Oh, they're so good for each other.
Yeah, then obviously the whole school is like, oh my god, they're banging in the
They's be
halls.
fucking. They fucking.
And I love when the running away Aira also joins in from another hall. And is like, oh my god, I'm back. We're back at school.
I love her little goofy ass run to catch up to them too, where she just like has her arms up to her face and they like shaking them side to side, like not doing like a. She's not pumping her arms like Hammer. She's just like a prissy princess.
I also love how
And
for the entire fight, Okarun is naked and like at first is like mortified by this, and instead of joining Aira in the fight, is searching for clothes. And I was like, "What the fuck, man? No, hold on, help me out." And then eventually, they're all stripping. Momo tells Aira to strip because it'll reduce their drag in water. So it's ridiculous. It's insane.
Yeah, and definitely not an excuse for the author to be like, "All right, how can I get Momo and Aira in a state of undress?"
Something that I do respect about this show is that sexuality is, obviously a part of the themes being a rom-com set in high school, but also like you don't get any like pervy shots, I guess. The
Yeah.
characters are naked, but it's treated pretty matter-of-factly and for comedic
Yeah, like, because
purposes.
every time we've seen Momo in a state of undress, like, she's not wearing anything sexy. There's like no
It's just like
shots. Like she,
normal high schooler underwear. Like
yeah,
it's
it
not
kind of
like
looks like
lingerie or anything.
granted, I could be wrong about the. It's obviously not lingerie like how Aira's wearing. It looks kind of like almost like a training or a push-up bra. And like the same with the underwear. It's like it's nothing fancy. It's just like casual ass, normal, unsexy underwear.
Yeah, it is something I kind of respect about the show, where, it can have these comedic moments dealing with sex and sexuality, but it doesn't necessarily have to, like, shove it in the audience's face, be aroused.
Well,
Coom
you know, you
now.
say that, Crunchy, but then we also have to acknowledge that scene in episode 6 where Aira shoves Okarun's balls all over Momo's face.
True, that did happen. Well, balls singular.
And you
only
know,
one.
Momo was like, "Ew, gross. That's you perv. Get that off me." But inside, she was like, "Yes, yes, yes."
I cannot get over the shot where Okarun's like, all right, I'm gonna go full force in the water. And then he immediately sinks to the bottom. And for a minute, you're like, wait, what happened? And then the camera pans down to his silhouette, running on like a 3-frame animation cycle going back and forth. He's just running underwater while drowning.
Running in place.
Well, yeah, literally not moving at all.
And then the fucking reaction Momo has be like, huh?
It's like this fight. I feel like this is the fight that proves that this show can just make anything fun. Like, any old fight will be the most fun thing ever. Because there's so many twists and turns. Like, everything turning to water, fucking that running, the aliens merging. Like, so much shit happens in in these 2 episodes. Like, the fight is just insane, but I love it. Oh god, I burped.
Yeah, everything about the show has continued to be its normal, enjoyable self. It's nonstop dopamine. Like the mere act of watching it puts me in a good mood. Then nothing about it is bad. Nothing about it is upsetting. Like the one time I thought it was going to veer into melodrama territory with the forced misunderstanding gets cleared up, and then it also is made easier to swallow by the fact that Momo's not like fuming about it. She just kind of gets mad depressed.
Yeah, she just solemnly looks at the mantis shrimp, which is another setup, by the way. Yet another Chekhov's gun being cocked. Because then when they all fuse together as the Loch Ness Monster behemoth thing, it also has the mantis shrimp punches from the one alien. But then she like uses her powers to clear out the water, and then the force of it fucking destroys itself. Like, there's just once again Chekhov's gun all the way, every single moment. Also, once again proving that this show can use CG relatively tastefully, where most of the time the aliens are poorly lit, and the one that they do use CG on is all black and, in a dark hallway, and so they're sort of covering up their tracks, and it's not even every shot, and then they fuse into not CG. So, they do a good job with it. I am not mad about the CG usage in this block of episodes either. And every other monster is fully animated.
Yeah, I'm just I want to finish the show now, so now I could be like at hit peak excitement for season 2.
Neon, it has been over a year and a half since I've given out a 10 out of 10 when I watched Dragon Maid season 2. I look, I'm not gonna call it too soon. There's still 3 episodes to watch. They could suddenly be the worst thing ever.
Well, maybe that
I'm
one character
hopeful.
from the OP we haven't met yet with the orange bowl cut. Maybe he's like the worst thing to happen to anime since I don't know, fucking the localization of the popularization of anime to the mainstream.
There we go. Yeah, I do wonder what his deal is. And I'm also glad that season 2 has been announced so soon because I was kind of concerned about him not showing up for so long.
According to the poster, he's like put in the forefront, so maybe the second season is gonna feature him prominently.
Yeah. But considering how well this show has done with it's now 3 main characters, like I love them all. I literally every single one. Aira, everything Aira does is hilarious and lovable, and I don't care if she's a narcissist. She's my narcissist, damn it.
I love the little moment they have when they're fighting to she and Okarun are fighting together in their transformed states, and Okarun's holding her like a dancer, and then they do a little pose together after they beat up with the alien they're fighting.
And Momo is molding behind them.
When did you guys get so chummy?
It's
Yeah, the
it's
show's
just
great.
good.
It is, in fact, amazing.
I think it's gonna be anime of the year. I don't want to call it too soon, but it's gonna be anime of the year, probably. It is currently.
It's got it's got some stiff competition. If it can nail the ending, for the season, I'm ready to give it a 10. Like it's definitely at the very, very, very worst. It's cannot anyone who gives it lower than a 9 is full of shit.
The last 3 episodes could be complete shit, and it'd probably still be a 9 at this point. Like I really do have faith in it, and according to people who have read the manga, in fact, it probably only gets better from here.
Listen, all I know is that if season 2 has that one scene where of the manga panels that I showed you of Momo's hand tap dancing on Okarun's fingers, then then the show will finally reach enough peak that it ascends all viewers who watch it into nirvana.
It's the best show. It's damn good.
So,
So we're talking about just the last 3 episodes for these ones. We've got Mecha Ude and Dandadan coming up. Dandadan first.
yeah, this was as great as it has been. Well, well, you know, as a block of episodes, it's also not fair. It's only 3, but it wasn't as peak as the Silky stuff, but it continued Dandadan kinography.
It is the weakest block of episodes in the show. Granted, it's also the shortest one we covered. It's mostly here for a few more one-off stories, and then at the end we get the big cliffhanger for season 2, which is announced and confirmed.
For this year,
Most of my notes for this are just screenshots of the funny faces that the characters make
fucking
and all the funny moments.
I gotta share my favorite one of motherfucking. I may put this in the thumbnail just because it's so amazing. me up to my cantankerous no good deeds.
Yeah, that was a great one. There's also the expression that the new guy gives. I'm blanking on his name.
Jiji.
But Jiji? Yeah, and he's like on the bus ride.
Yeah, I scrolled back
just...
up to it. And he's like half sunk into his hood of his hoodie.
I died when I saw that.
Yeah. I replied to you when you posted it saying, "Man, these edibles ain't shit."
Which, by the way, so this is the last 2 episodes of this in particular are our introduction to this new character. What are your thoughts on him?
I was worried at first because he did come off as a bit of a Zenitsu, and that he's kind of annoying. But the more you're around him, you get what he's like all about. And I love the joke behind him, how even though he's like conventionally handsome and attractive and athletic, he's a total fucking goober.
He really... I love his introduction to the class in episode 11, where the teacher's like, "Nah, his parents are in the hospital. I'm sure he's having a hard time. Just be nice to him." And then meanwhile, he's just like, "Oh no, oh, you beautiful mistress! If I don't get your contact info, I'll die."
I
Come
love
on,
how he's
give
always
me-
accompanied with air horns.
Oh yeah, I love it. Just perfect sound design.
I
And-
love how he said all the guys are jealous of him, all the girls are like enamored by him, even Momo's friends who are like judgmental of him at first, like he's like kind of you're too much, man. You're trying too hard. You're a bit OD. And then he goes up to the dark-skinned Gyaru and he's like, "Oh man, you're so beautiful though." And then she's like, "Wait a second, you're actually cool."
I, once again, like you, I was worried at first, but he's worked his way around to being a character I enjoy because, when he just repeats it enough times, like just keeps being a goofy goober. At some point, you gotta be like, you know what? I'm kind of seeing the charm. I'm kind of seeing. Why
he does
people
it
like him.
just enough that it's like you understand the charm of it and realize that he's just like a total fucking goober, but he doesn't go overboard to the point it's like, okay, like chill out, bro.
Well, see, it's also because, Zenitsu was just annoying. Like, that's his character. But with him, like, he's annoying in a way that is funny. Where he is, like, just trying as hard as possible to charm people in very obvious and transparent ways. And it, like, the joke is that it kind of works. Just through sheer force of will, it does kind of work for him. And also through him just being handsome. And plot-wise, this is meant to give our main boy Okarun a rival in Momo's affection for the first time, which is shown hilariously through the episode of the random science statue that springs to life one day and starts running to his similarly science statue wife. And he's running to her in the graveyard. And first of all, hilarious episode.
Well, first of all, it's a dump, not a graveyard.
Dump, not graveyard. Why? I don't know why I said graveyard.
I mean, it
because I
is
was
where trash
envisioning the
goes
dump
to
in my
die.
mind. I guess she was there to die, and that's what confused me. But yeah, it's a dump. And Momo's like clinging on to the guy because they thought he saw one of. I love how the plot is still, even at the end of season 1, let's get Okarun's balls back. Or I guess the one remaining ball.
Yeah, I do like the the bait and switch of, oh my god, Okarun, he's got your other ball, but just turns out to be someone hung a gold Christmas ornament from his crotch.
Yeah, the comedy in this show is still peak as always, by the way. Like even the scenario of once again Momo and Jiji just dangle like a streamer behind him. Momo's hanging on with her psychic powers for dear life, and they're just waving around. Meanwhile, like Okarun's trying to catch up because at this point he's like starting to get jealous of Jiji. And finally at the end, like the statue reuniting with his lover is like, teaches Okarun like, all right, I'm gonna start actually, vying for Momo's affection. Like I see what's going on with the Jiji. He's clearly like trying to get with her again. I mean, he's trying to get with everyone, every girl in sight, immediately and blatantly. But he's like, look, I've gotta start putting my charm out there for her to see.
I love the one bit where Okarun like declares he's not gonna hold back anymore, and then after setting up the table for dinner, he just does this little weird, awkward crab dance around Jiji while singing, and then Jiji just joins in on him.
It's the once again funniest show ever. Like it is the casually comedic dialogue is so good in this show all the time.
I love how Seiko keeps referring to him as a genius every time he calls her auntie.
What are you, a genius? Yeah, there's there's so many little moments in this show. Yeah, like I'm looking through my notes.
My very first
I love
note
the
from
moments
episode
where
10 was, mommy, shit, I mean, sorry, mommy, sorry, I mean, mommy, fuck.
I love how they're getting interrogated for the whole, like, nude in the hallway incident, and she's just for no reason. I still don't know why they did this other than it was funny to have this, like, the person interviewing them being like, "Are you being bullied?" is like super, strict and like kind of
She's
just
like,
doming the other teachers.
I couldn't tell if she was supposed to be like the school nurse or like the school disciplinary officer.
I think disciplinary officer or both.
Because she's dressed as
'Cause
like a
she's-
dominatrix nurse.
Yeah. Just
Which
once
is-
again for no reason.
Which is a hilarious concept, and also then just begins punishing a teacher that interrupts them. And then just juxtaposes that with, listen, you kids can stay here if you ever feel like you need someone to talk to, if you're ever being bullied, come my way, I'll help you guys out as much as I can. And then after she leaves the room, just begins smacking the dude with her riding crop.
I love the scene immediately afterwards where Momo's friends come in and they set up like this little detective thing with the one girl, pulling up the red piece of paper. while the
She's
other
like a
girl
red
is-
trapper keeper. And just like,
Yeah.
whoa. And she just, I love how they even treat it in universe and like how the red lighting, they set up beforehand. She's just fanning herself with it. Then they put the spotlight on the one friend who's like doing all her little Sherlock Holmes bit. Then she puts the trapper keeper in front of the light to make it all red. And then they cut to her doing it and acknowledging that she's doing it. And she's like, whoa. Like she's just a spur of the moment idea that she had.
But I also I love the punchline of this scene because in any, shit tier anime, the punchline is, oh, they're going to think they were having a threesome because she's saying like 3 people, 1 boy, 2 girls. They're both jealous for the guy and they're in, they end up in the halls nude together. What could this possibly mean? They're vying for his affection. And then it comes the punchline. And she comes to the best conclusion: nude gladiator combat for his affection.
Man,
Which
I
is
wish I
just
had a couple bitches who would fight in the
wonderful.
nude over me.
I'm so glad it wasn't the obvious punchline of, oh, you were having a threesome, which is what any other shit anime would do. But no, it's the completely stupid and idiotic and nonsensical misdirection of, oh, nude gladiator combat, obviously. Just of course.
The humor's great, and once again, the chemistry between Momo and Okarun is some of the best I've ever seen. I love that they finally sort out the whole misunderstanding thing, and when Okarun confesses that he was trying to work out in secret so that Momo would think that he's cool, and then he never outright says it's to protect her, but he just comes up with the, well, not that this is a lie either, but that he wants to protect her to or rather he wants her to think that he's cool because he's a guy. And the fucking smile that Momo gives, oh my god,
I love that you sent it in hosts only. Yeah,
love, pure love.
this show just has so many good expressions in it, man. Like, it's stayed pretty damn consistent with the animation.
Yeah,
And
no,
art quality
there
is
was
always
never a
on
dip.
point. Yeah, it's just always, hitting those highs, like especially when it needs to. Like, obviously episode 1 looks a little better than, the later episodes, because they do flashback to it at one point, and I was like, oh yeah, like the first episode did have a bit more polish in its animation, but it never gets to a point where it's like super noticeable and jarring. It's always like just super consistent, super up there. It's one of the best looking, if not the best looking show to come out this year.
I'm
Like,
very glad that's able to maintain its balance between plot and rom-com. Like, I still love that that's the angle that they're going for. That this isn't just a shonen story with like cool powers and shit. This is a romance first and foremost that happens to have shonen elements.
Yeah, and they are still developing the romance in these episodes. Even if this is like the least plot heavy part of the show so far, it's still, we're building stuff up in the background. I will say the season does leave off at a bit of an inconvenient point. It's got that cliffhanger ending.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's preventing me from giving this season a 10 out of 10 is that between
I
like
thought we were gonna have a debate on it, but I was like, a part of it, I really want to give this a 10. The issue is I just watched an actual 10 out of 10, which is Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, which, by the way, I didn't get to talk about it earlier because we decided we weren't going to talk about anime because we spent too long talking about YouTube stuff. Watch it. Watch it. Anyone on this podcast who hasn't seen it, watch Haruhi. Watch it just so you can get to Disappearance. I swear it's the best movie of all time. It's like beautifully animated through and through. It looks even better than Dandadan because it's Kyoto Animations. That's like, not that there's any like reasonable comparison to be made between the two, but I just need it out there that this is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Genuinely a masterpiece, 10 out of 10. Only one problem that I had with it, and it wasn't even a big deal. Okay, rant over. Also, never mind, there's like a 40-minute rant I have about it on my second channel that you should go listen to right now. The spoiler-free section only. I'm not sure if you listened to any of that, Neon.
I did not listen to the spoiler section.
Good. They're like, it's great. It's great. I'll just say this. It has one of the best twists I have seen in any piece of media ever. And when I realized what it was going for, I instantly knew, like, this is a 10. It has to be. If you're going to do something that masterfully set up and executed, like, I was in awe at how good it was. Okay, rant over.
Yeah, so yeah, back for what we were saying before. It's I was close to giving it a 10, but with the way that like these last few episodes were set up, it feels like this is an Oshinoko situation where and granted, I think you were higher on what score did you give the first season of Oshinoko?
I gave the first season a 9, and the second season also a 9, just a higher 9.
Yeah, so it was a situation like that where it felt like we're doing a lot of setup, and now that we have the setup all out of the way, we have all of our characters in place. We've got Jiji as like he's gonna probably get whatever power he's going to get if we're following trends here. He's gonna get his ability, and then we're gonna have guys like Taro on our side, guys like the Mantis Shrimp, who is now on our side because we gave him a cow. And
I love how the show found the weirdest possible explanation to have a cow get taken by a UFO. That's just great. I love how this entire episode is just a bunch of set dressing for the reveal of cow gets taken by UFO, which may I just say, that UFO, like the animation of it leaving, is like weirdly beautiful.
yeah,
Like, I don't know why they went so hard for it, but it's like almost majestic seeing the scale of this thing as it's leaving. God, like this show looks so good.
Yeah, it looks amazing. It feels like now that we've gotten all the setup out of the way, next season is when shit's gonna go crazy.
Yeah, I feel like the main thing, once again, it's the cliffhanger ending that really just made me, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of cringe. I'll say it. And the reason why
it's cringe to do a cliffhanger ending on season 1 of a show. That's like not
well,
like
it's not even just that, but that the question, right? So there's a bunch of ghosts that enter the hot spring with Momo because, they're pervert ghosts or whatever. I'm not sure where exactly it's going for it, but they're clearly, I think they're setting it up for a misdirection personally, but the ghosts say like, oh, have you ever heard of, I think it's crocodiles? They're people who go to mixed gender hot springs to prey on women, and then immediately start approaching her and knock her into the water. And I vehemently hate that the cliffhanger for the season,
is Momo going to get raped or not?
I am like that. I'm not gonna lie, right? Everything up to that point, I might have. I'm not sure if I still would have given it a 10 because it is the weakest stretch of the season, and it feels like we're about to get into the key, like true Kino. But that just put a sour taste in my mouth. I'm not gonna lie.
That's
you
a really
know that's a topic that I don't deal well with. But for that to be the cliffhanger, for that to be the thing that's gonna be on my mind, will Momo get raped? What? I feel like that should have been reserved for season 2. Like, start off season 2 with that question so we can get it answered immediately. So that we don't have to have it lingering in the back of our minds. Just set it, like, it would have been way better to just set up the thing with the room. And maybe, like, start with, like, just tease at the ghosts, like, maybe approaching the hot spring or whatever. Like, at most. Just be
I feel like
there's gonna be some kind of encounter here.
Yeah, I feel like starting this last episode 12, should have been at the season premiere of season 2, where we start cleanly into this arc of this haunted house, because clearly that there with all the setup they've done and how I do like this character aspect of Jiji, where I feel like they're gonna do a thing where he's like, the reason that he's such a goober is because he is using like humor to distract himself from the never-ending nightmare of this ghost that's haunting him.
I love the scene where he's like, crap, like another night where I'm not gonna sleep, because he just always sees this ghost haunting him. And it's like that was powerful. That made me really want to like figure out what Gigi's deal is.
Yeah, like,
but I don't know, man, like
my working
any
theory
other
is
cliffhanger,
he's
man.
using humor as a coping mechanism.
Yeah, I think that's a good theory, and probably what they're going for. And if so, makes him a really interesting character. Like I'm starting to have a soft spot in my heart for Jiji.
Yeah, but I feel like once he's gonna have like his own Aira Shiratori moment. Maybe not quite on the level of Acrobat Silky and that story, but maybe something similar. And then he's gonna get his inevitable power. He's gonna become part of the group.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to season 2. This is definitely one of the higher 9 out of 10s I've given.
Yeah, I am also bummed, by the way, that Aira did not join the gang on this.
I was also bummed. I was like, okay, I get it. You're setting up this new character, but I was like, I love Aira. I love her so much.
I've grown more and more attached to Aira the more the show's gone on. I think it's mostly due to her performance. I love her voice actor. She gives such a every time she talks, it's like it's like the voice of someone who is knowingly putting on an airheaded voice, even though even though she thinks that she's manipulating people, and to an extent she is. She's actually just kind of an airhead in real life.
Like she now that you mention it, like there is that level of her character where she's like, pretending to be airheaded, but then continually misunderstands, like, oh, Okarun, I know it's not supposed to work between a human and a demon, but I really love you, Okarun.
Yeah.
I love that, like, okay, so I love that this show can have a clear romance that it's setting up, and that, obviously Momo and Okarun are getting together and Aira doesn't have a chance, but that Aira still doesn't feel like an unnecessary, thing for drama in the show, that it can just have this, like, super charming character also serve that role in more of a comedic sense, where, because the show knows that you're not expecting them to get together. And so it just uses that to be like the funniest running gag ever and make you love Aira.
I have a theory of why she was probably chosen not to be included in this arc. And that's probably because they want to save like more interactions between Aira and Jiji later down the line for twofold. One, probably because this arc is probably going to focus on like the love triangle between Okarun, Momo, and Jiji. And then if Aira were there, she'd probably... I imagine there's probably going to be an arc or like a plot point later down the line where Aira's going to realize that Jiji has a thing for Momo. And she's like, hey, what if I help you get with Momo so that way I can have Okarun all to myself? They probably didn't want to include that into the mix of this particular arc and probably want to save it
makes sense
for later.
And
then
if that does happen later on, that's gonna be super peak.
Yeah, and then I think it's gonna go into a 1-2 punch of because we all know that Momo and Okarun will always be the one that end up together. It's gonna come into the 1-2 punch that, in attempting to do so, Aira's gonna get with Jiji.
Literally, that's literally the plot of Toradora, and having like a mini Toradora in this show sounds perfect.
It just makes too much sense to me. Especially if they go with what I think might happen, in that in the why am I blanking? Okarun and Aira have the transformation powers, whereas fucking Momo and Jiji will probably get like Gigi's probably gonna get psychic powers similar to what Momo does, but not like an exact copy.
Yeah.
Like he won't get a transformation, he'll probably get psychic abilities.
That makes sense as well. Yeah,
So
overall, goated. Absolutely goated. Although, Neon, you said, to start this section off, you said anime of the, did you say season or year?
Anime of the year. Well, actually,
So how come this is a 9 and Oshinoko Season 2 is a 10?
well, anime of the year in the sense of it's like
New
if we're talking new anime, then yes, because
Okay.
yeah, because yeah, as you pointed out, I did like season 2 of Oshinoko better than this overall.
I actually, I think this is better than Oshinoko Season 2. I really do.
I feel like, yeah, the character chemistry, like, yeah, obviously they're going for different things, but I feel like what separates Oshinoko and Dandadan for me, at least season 2, is that the season 2 of Oshinoko had so many back-to-back-to-back highlights and, peak kinography moments, whereas Dandadan, it never dips in quality, but, there's some parts that are more exciting than others, like, the peak of the show is Acrobatic Silky. I don't think that could be debated.
In terms of like raw emotions, certainly, but I actually think the most impressive thing about it is literally like the moment to moment character chemistry, where I think this has like some of the best, once again, some of the best dialogue in fiction. Like the casual dynamic is just perfect.
Yeah, and I on that aspect, even though I think it was also done really well in Oshinoko, for the more comedy centric series that is Dandadan, I think it does have the edge in that front. I just think that when it comes to like its story and its drama, I think Oshinoko does it better. Granted, season 2 has the benefit of season 1's setup, which is why I say that I think season 2, I would not be surprised if I end up giving it a 10 out of 10 based on what content is in it. Because it feels like we've got
here.
Season 1, we've got the setup done. We've established characters. Season 2, maybe there'll be a central villain established. I don't know if like
That would
if
be
this,
nice.
If there was this is the kind of show that'll have a recurring villain. The closest thing we've got to a recurring villain is Turbo Granny, who's basically mostly on our side now, and the Serpo aliens, the Bad Touch aliens.
Yeah.
But
overall, the moral of the story is that you should watch Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya.
you should watch Oshinoko Season 2 and Dandadan.
And Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya. Neon, I'm telling you, it's the best movie ever.
I don't doubt that it's
perfect.
good. My issue is that I have to watch multiple seasons of Haruhi to understand it and
True.
appreciate it.
True. They're still good though. I'm telling you, Neon. I've been thinking about this movie nonstop since I watched it. That should put it into perspective.
So what you're telling me is
for
that
you.
the video is coming soon.
It's not.
Come on.
Granted, the closest I got to going back to AniTube was thinking, man, I could make like a 30-minute video on this movie easily. But then I'm just
maybe you
thinking to
should do
myself, and I'm like, I already did the rant. The rant is probably the best you're getting, which got to all of the points I would have made in that video anyway.
Yeah, but you can actually like script them out and flesh them out.
I could write some beautiful fucking prose about Yuki Nagato's arc in that film. It is like one of the most thematically tragic yet gorgeous anything in fiction. Basically watch it. also watch Dandadan. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of mid by comparison, but it's still pretty good.
Is it? I would say mid by comparison.
It's great. It's great. There, two goats are coexisting here. I'm pulling your leg, but
Yeah, like if we're talking just like
It's
original
great.
standout anime, then or standalone anime rather, then Dandadan would be my anime of the year. Otherwise, because like
Same
my
here.
only problem with like giving a sequel season an anime of the year nod is saying that because like then it's like in order to watch it, you need to watch season 1, and at that point, you know, I think I've talked
Yeah.
about this before, but like an issue that I have with anime consumption is that people treat the seasons as like separate shows almost when they're just supposed to be seasons of one uniform show.
yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like how people will talk about the different seasons of Game of Thrones and how like the later seasons fell off a cliff, but like it's still the whole of Game of Thrones, whereas you when it comes to talking about them, Oshinoko season 1, season 2 might as well be like a light year away.
Yeah, that's about all I have to say. Dandadan is really good.
Yes, you should watch Dandadan.